Right, there's a look at your leaderboard, 1 round left to play. Well, it's Deck Tech time here with Derrick Davis. Talked to Corey Baumeister the other day with a very cool domain control list. Let's check it out.
All right, everybody, welcome to a Deck Tech here with Derrick Davis, Pro Tour Phyrexia Top 4 competitor. You're playing a really, really spicy one this weekend. I know you're an enjoyer of playing, well, all the colors here. And this Pro Tour is no different. You're playing domain control. So tell me a little bit about why you chose to play this deck.
So coming off the PT, I met up with Chris Ferber, and I know he was going
Who also
to
top-aided, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And we kind of chatted about getting ready for this PT. He mentioned that he was going to be going to the RC, so we kind of worked together for the RC, even though I didn't go. I knew from those testing situations, I ended up kind of trying out this domain list during that, and a lot of them ended up taking it to the RC and did pretty well.
And did pretty well with it.
And I just knew I wanted to be on some sort of 5-color deck.
Absolutely. It's definitely on brand for you compared to the last Pro Tour. So let's talk about kind of the first most important card, not only in this deck, but in the format. It's Fable the Mirror Breaker. You know, is this just a card no matter what you were going to play in some deck?
Pretty much. If I wasn't playing Esper, I was going to be playing Fable the Mirror Breaker.
Gotcha. So is this deck, or is this card just as good in this style of deck as it is in like Rakdos, Grixis kind of thing?
Yeah, it does.
Maybe better?
Yeah, it does so much more in that, like in Rakdos, you know, you get the Goblin Shaman that can accelerate out and invoke Despair. Maybe it helps you hit your 4th flag because that's kind of hard to hit without treasures, but you know, it may not, all that stuff. In this deck, it helps smoothen out your mana a lot. It helps, you know, loot away the bad lands to find good lands, things like that. And then the reflection is obviously as good as advertised.
Yeah, smoothing out a mana base when it is all the colors is pretty important. So you do have another card to help you out, smooth out the mana base. Contagious Vorak is another card that we've seen in previous domain lists. Was this just another auto-include to help the mana base?
Basically, yeah. It helps. Obviously, you know, hit your land drops, fix your mana. It also really lines up well against Fable itself. It blocks the Goblin Shaman naturally, so a card that you would normally kind of ignore from the opposing seat, they kind of have to kill it right away. Yeah,
nope, makes sense. So then kind of the big haymaker that we've seen in traditional domain lists, we got some spice that is not in your traditional domain list coming up a little bit later, but it is Atraxa. You know, Atraxa is just this powerful card. Was this just an auto-include in the deck as well, or just a card you knew you wanted to be playing?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, 7 mana, 7/7 with all the keywords and put 6 cards in your hand is where I want to be in the format.
Yeah, you even have an extra type you can be putting into your hand now, right? Okay, so another card that we've seen a lot that helps fix your mana base, Herd Migration, another card that you're just playing 4 of. Is this the #1 payoff in the deck, or do you like Atraxa, you know, as a better one, or?
I don't think I would say there is necessarily like a #1 payoff, but it's just so key to the deck just because of like, it's your 5-color land that also gains you life, that also ends the game. So it's just doing everything you want it to do and more.
Very versatile, that's for sure. Okay, and I can't waste any more time. I think you're all thinking it as well. We need to talk about Invasion of Alara because, well, battles aren't necessarily something we would even think that we'd be seeing in Standard, let alone the 5-color, probably the most difficult one to cast. So tell us a little bit about Invasion of Alara in this deck.
The card's great. It's your value engine, and so basically when it enters, it cascades twice. You choose 1 to go in your hand, 1 to cast. And so you get to more reliably find your sweepers and your Fables. Casting Fable more often is generally a good place to be. Especially going from 5 to 7, you put the Goblin Shaman in play, and then the next turn you can cast a 7-drop. But it just gets you so much value and helps close out the game.
So then trying to flip an invasion like this, your deck doesn't really attack it very well. So we have another creature that is going to help you flip a little bit. Let's talk about Cemetery Desecrator. Not a card we've seen in Standard very much. Walk us through this one.
Well, the main thought process with that card is you're cycling Herd Migrations. You might discard an Atraxa to Fable or something along those lines. This card takes your 7-drops and processes them to flip your Alara right away by removing 7 counters conveniently. It's also just a really good removal spell for creatures and planeswalkers alike. And so it just does a lot. It also makes Reflection just that much better in this deck.
And a 4/4 is still pretty difficult to kill.
Menace.
And then do you find yourself when you flip Invasion just kind of always winning the game? Because it has a lot of words on it, I'll tell you that.
It generally ends the game, especially if you're playing Desecrator, copying it, removing another thing from their board, making a 7/7 with Menace, like it does it all.
Awesome. Well, it does it all, and Derrick Davis is hoping to do it all at this Pro Tour as well. Good luck to you.
Thank you.